Okay, recording a little file here for posterity. I'm in the upstairs room at Elevate Barbell. I'm not on social media, like I don't have it installed on my phone to kind of like have a little bit of mental clarity. That's been working. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is I just got finished squatting. I went off program today and I want to talk about the reasons why, maybe some of the lessons I've learned, a little bit more about what happened. So like, since nationals, I've been playing around with low bar. I've had low bar squats, high rep, low rep. I've had low bar pause squats. I've had accessory exercises to strengthen parts of my body that might help. I've played around with technique. I've had a list of technical cues, where the bar is on my back, how it feels. I feel like I've learned some things about low bar. I started off too low and I realized, whoa, this is not good. So I moved the bar up a teeny bit, kind of resting down on my rear delts. I've changed my walkout a little bit, bringing my feet more forward, kind of swinging my hips underneath me and unracking more vertically rather than levering. I've played around with bracing, with head position. What else? Stance width, and just things weren't clicking, And what I mean by weren't clicking were like my loads were going down and down and down and down, like at the same rep range, same RPE. And I thought to myself, like, okay, well, I just need more work, give it time. This is the same exact thing I tell my athletes. Give it time, be patient. The signs point to this being stronger. It looks more consistent on video. It looks like you're hitting depth more consistently in the hole every single time. We know the low bar typically is stronger for athletes than high bar, levers, so on and so forth. Also, hey, I'm dieting. I've dropped, quite a bit so far. That probably has a compounding factor. Give it some time, things will normalize. And it's still so frustrating. I know my peak strength is down from being like a full 105, full 107 sometimes, to where I expect to be today. And I know I'm not peak now, which is even different. I can't compare my lifetime best as a 105 kilo athlete to where I am today in the middle of training on any given day. And yet, it still just felt awful. And so last session, which is the third week of the block that I was in, I was doing a single of RPE 6. And then my coach is now giving me a range so I don't get myself into trouble, because the last block went so badly. Now we put some load caps on some of these RPEs so I don't feel so in the dark on load selection with all these changing variables going on. So the load range was 265 to 275. I hit 275. It went fine. I stood up with it. It didn't feel like a tremendous effort or something like that. But, in reality, it's maybe a 6.5 RPE, something like that. But it felt so much more difficult. And, I kept hearing from other people, the walkout on low bar is really difficult and then the squat is really easy. Low bar should be better. And I keep telling myself these things, but it just doesn't stick, at the end of the day, when I get under the barbell and I want to perform, it's just not there. And it feels shitty to do that, session after session, and constantly having to rationalize to myself, okay, it's not feeling good, but A, B, C, D, E, F, G, through all these reasons to kind of reassure myself that things are going to be okay. And so I went off program today. I had pause squat sets of 4, nothing consequential. And I told myself, look, I'm going to do high bar. And this plan kind of evolved. It didn't kind of hatch fully formed. It just kind of evolved. I'm going to do low bar today. Let me start warming up. Let me do a single at 6. And then I'll do my back off sets at 5. And we'll just kind of test the waters a little bit. So I did a single at 6, and I did 220, 250, 270, that was fine. 280, that was fine. We did 290, that was fine. 290 was maybe RPE 7 or something like that. And we decided let's do one more. So I went up to 300, and it's the first time I've handled that weight in quite a few weeks, and it felt good. It felt like such a relief to be able to squat that weight without too much effort, and to not feel like I'm crazy, to not feel like I've gone from being a 340 kilo squatter to being like a 300 kilo squatter. Like, oh my God, I'm still able to lift. Like, it felt like such a relief. And so I'm just kind of talking out loud here and drawing some lessons from this experience. What did I learn through this? I learned, like, just like I let my athletes do, it's okay to go off program occasionally, and occasionally we learn good things. I learned that athlete intuition is real, and I learned that this lesson I have to, like, just keep learning over and over again, that lifting technique isn't an absolute thing. There is no universal best. It's fitting the movement to the lifter. It's experimentation and it's trial and error, but like, maybe experiments have limits and they have bounds, and we just can't force something to fit, even if we want it to fit. And the trends for, like, athletes on the whole are truly trends. I've questioned myself so much over this period. Like, did I just start learning low bar too late? Do I need different musculature? Like, am I broken? Like, I went through, like, all these kind of, like, self-defeating thoughts, and I had some really bad sessions and some dark moments, and like, part of that tells me that, like, yes, I truly care about this because I'm having such these strong emotions for this sport, like this thing that I pour my life into. And part of it's just telling myself that my intuitions matter sometimes, and I can be wrong. Like, I was the one who decided to do low bar. My fault. And, we can have the best intentions and then ultimately end up just wrong sometimes. So I'm thinking now, like, look, I want a high bar, or I want to go back to my comp bar placement from before and how all that felt. But maybe let me try to just clean up how the hole feels, and let me try to learn how to brace better and choose supportive exercises that help me preserve my position under heavy loading a little bit better. Perhaps that's more pause squats now, not low bar, more high bar pause squats. Maybe that's safety bar with better technique than I had been using before, and various back movements and upper back movements and things like that could really make a difference without throwing out everything that's worked for me up to this point. And it just feels like a relief, like such a relief to, on any old day, squat 300 and to not feel so soul crushed by it, and this sense of dread getting under the bar, and even thinking, like, will I do this? How will my back feel? By the way, when I was low bar squatting, like, I just felt such pain in my upper back, and I kept trying to find new positions that might feel different or better, and it all just felt pretty wrong, even with a fair amount of effort. And so, like, the lesson I draw from this isn't don't experiment. The lesson isn't, like, trust the way that you lift no matter what, because I think that technical improvement is a thing, like, it exists, but I think there are bounds, and I think that, like, good athlete intuition matters, and that our perceptions and our experiences in the real world, especially as they result in decreasing motivation and self-doubt, and especially, like, decreasing load on the barbell consistently, as a trend over and over again, like, that matters a lot. And so if you're out there listening to this, like, just, do your experiments, but I don't know, have a little bit of a core self-doubt, self-belief that you kind of always keep and are able to push back against even yourself sometimes. I don't know if there's anything really generalizable here, but this felt like a meaningful session, so I just wanted to chat about it a little bit.